In this video, I attempted to animate solo leveling in 1 hour and 24 hours. Now before I attempt to do the impossible, here's a clip of what I'll be animating. To be honest, I don't have enough confidence in my skills to pull this off. I mean, this was literally done by a studio. Anyways, I'll try the little I can and hope it turns out good. For the 1 hour attempt, I got straight to animating the demon monarch shooting out a lightning ball from his mouth. 1 hour might look like a lot of time, but it's almost impossible to finish this animation in such little time. I animated the lightning ball first on a separate layer, then animated the lightning around it just like in the anime clip. Allow me to catch you up. You see, this animation has several cuts, the first one being a shot of the demon monarch charging up for a blast, and that's what I'm animating right now. The animators who worked on this scene were probably showboating, because why did they go so hard for a lightning animation? Anyways, I tried my best to replicate the lightning and make sure I animated mine similarly. Animating lightning took a lot of my time, but hey, anything for good-looking effects. I wouldn't want to take too much time, so let's speed up this lightning animation process. Now at the next cut, we see the demon monarch and Song Jinwoo in an attack pose while the lightning ball charges up in slow mode. The camera zooms out at this scene, so I'll use the lasso tool to animate the zoom out effect. After I had animated both characters, I went on to animate the lightning effect, and as usual, this took up a lot of my time. It was almost an hour already, and I wasn't even halfway through. At this point, there wasn't really much hope left in me. I just did the best I could. The next cut was an impact frame-filled animation. At this scene, Sung Jinwoo dived in for a heavy punch that sent the demon monarch's head flying, and the camera started from his legs and worked its way up to his fist. Here's a replay of the cut I was trying to animate. Since that cut was mostly animated in impact frames, I tried to animate it first before tracing the impact frames line over it. At this point, I had just 12 minutes to finish this impact frames cut. It's quite obvious I'm cooked. Anyways, 1 hour isn't a lot of time. I don't think anyone is surprised. I animated the moves first, then I traced the impact frames over it. I just didn't have enough time to make it look good. The last 10 minutes of my time was spent drawing the impact frames. At this point, I knew I couldn't finish the animation. Anyways, let's speed this up. Once I finished with the impact frames, I turned on the glow for the lightning effect. In the previous 1 hour reanimation, only the beginning looked good, the rest looked really bad. Personally, I think that's probably the worst thing I've animated all year. It's time to lock in and go all out for the 48-hour attempt. For anyone who's forgotten what I'm trying to animate, here's a replay of the scene. For the 48-hour attempt, I'm definitely going to do better. The plan is to take as much time as needed while working as fast as I can. I broke the scene into cuts and worked on each of them. Good animation takes a lot of time, but let's see what I can cook and flip a clip under this limited time. In this scene, the demon monarch charges up for a blast and the camera slowly zooms out. I animated the characters first, then I worked on the lightning ball effect. After I had finished with that, I went on to animate the scene where Sung Jinwoo punches the head off the demon monarch. This scene was animated with impact frames, but at first, I animated it normally on a different layer, then traced the impact frames over the animation, so it acted like some sort of guide. Of course, this impact frames animation took a lot of time. I wouldn't want to show the whole process here, but if you want to watch the whole time-lapse, I'll be posting the uncut version on the second channel. Just click the link in the description and it'll take you there. Now, let's speed this up. Some of the impact frames had lightning flashes. I made sure to animate them as well. Tiny details like this aren't very noticeable until you rewatch the animation frame by frame or in 0.25 speed. Normally, I wouldn't spend this much time on just animating lightning, but since I had enough time for it, I didn't mind. Besides the lightning, there was flashes of yellow light whooshing across the screen too. I made sure to animate it just like in the clip. At the point where Sung Jin-woo punches off his head, there's sparks of light that fly out as well as some more impact frames. They really went crazy with the impact frames in that scene, but first, I animated the sparks flying out. At this point, I was halfway through animating the scenes, and yes, of course I took breaks in between animating. Going at it for 48 hours straight would just be overkill. I animated the sparks fly out just like in the animation. I did this on 3s so I could show the shaky effect, just like in the anime clip. As these sparks flew out, the demon monarch was about to lose his head, so in the next cut I animate the punch from a wider shot first, then in a close-up view. Just like I've mentioned previously, the animators went crazy with the impact frames in this scene, so I don't think anyone's surprised that we got another impact frame as the demon monarch gets punched in the jaw. As I've said earlier, I'll post the raw uncut version on the second channel, so check it out there. Now, let's speed this up. Aside from the crazy impact frames the animation had, there was also yellow lightning flashes across the screen, so I made sure to animate it. I can't explain how, but this gives so much life to the intensity of the punch. Once again, I continued with the impact frames, using the punch as a guide. I was able to animate it. My future apologies for how crazy the impact frames got. I was just doing my job. Now, I'm going to allow you guys to enjoy the short impact frames time-lapse. According to my analytics, a whole lot of you guys watching the videos aren't subscribed. Well, I have a goal to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Help me get one step closer to the goal by smashing the subscribe button. It means a lot to me. Now back to the video. Once I had finished with the impact frames, I went on to animate the yellow lightning popping out randomly during the punch. Aside from the lightning, there was some glow that whooshed across the screen. I made sure to include it in my animation as well. I think the hard part about effects is that I animate them on ones, so it's not so easy animating them each frame. Now, for the next scene, we see the demon monarch in slow motion as he absorbs the punch, right before his head comes off. That's the scene I'm reanimating. Here's a replay in case you feel lost. Now, just like in the previous clip, I tried to animate the head exploding similarly. First, it started with the light flashes as anticipation for the incoming explosion, then finally came the big boom. At this point in the challenge, I was finishing up with the animation. What's left is to work on the final cut. In this scene, the blast goes up into the sky, then explodes. And of course, there's some impact frames here too. Animating the impact frames here didn't take as much time as the rest. Honestly, I think the animators of this whole scene should be really proud of themselves. It was literally so peak. I enjoyed working on it. I won't go into as much detail as the anime did because I'm obviously not a multi-million-dollar studio, but I'll do the little I can before my time runs out. I know it might sound nuts, but would you believe me if I told you it took me around 40 minutes to finish up with the impact frames for this scene? The funny part is that this only comes on screen for about a quarter of a second, yet it takes up so much time. Animation is indeed an art of patience. After finishing up with the animation, I went back to animate effects on various cuts that needed them. Some needed the lightning effect, and others some more impact frames. Especially at this scene where the Demon King loses his head. I needed to show the gravity of the punch the same way the animators of the anime did, and what better way to do that than adding more impact frames and lightning effects to it. If you want to learn to animate just like in this video, don't forget to check the tutorial playlist and get to animating. Enough of my yapping, enjoy the impact frames time-lapse. Okay, that's enough frames. The next thing I did was to work on the other effects, basically the wind and dust effects during these explosions. I animated the smoke effect at the part where the demon monarch loses his head. I wanted to show it moving out slowly, so I made sure to animate it on 3s. I added in the shaky effect as well to give the idea that this punch was really heavy. I mean, the whole punch lasted for about 20 seconds, so yeah, it was really heavy. After animating the wind and blast waves, the next thing to reanimate were the rocks flying up as the Demon King's head let out an intense blast. I couldn't really reanimate this scene exactly like the anime because I was running out of time, so I kinda rushed it. I hope it turns out decent though. I did all I could with the exploding rocks for the timing. Some of them I animated on 1s, others I animated on 3s. Honestly, animating the rocks and getting the timing right was a little bit harder than I thought. You guys have to let me know in the comments though. Did I do good on the rocks animation? The whole idea of this scene was just to convey the intensity of the explosion of the Demon Monarch's head. Here's a replay of the clip again to show what part I'm reanimating in case you're confused. Animating the rocks took quite some time, but I just pushed through. After all, I had to redeem myself from the terrible job I did with the 1-hour attempt. Once I had finished with the rock animation, I went on to add wavy whoosh lines to the explosion. It gives more life and makes it really feel like it's moving rapidly. You know, at this point, I was basically done with the animation. I was just going back to fill in extra tiny details you probably won't even notice, but hey, that's what good animation is about. I animated in these little sparks of the blast flying out randomly to really sell the effect, just like they did in the anime. Now for the final touches of this animation, I turned on the glow effect from the various layers of animation that needed it, but there was one tiny problem. Because the animation used up a lot of layers, I mistakenly messed up the arrangement. I had to go back to fix this mistake, especially for the layers needing the glow effect. I added in glow effect manually to some of the impact frames, then finally finished up the animation by working on a blast wave from the scene where the demon monarch's head comes off and there's an intense blast. Alright guys, after long hours of toiling and grinding, I was done with the animation. It would be really cool if you slapped the like button to serve as encouragement. Anyways, here's the result. That's all for this video. What do you guys think? Did I cook? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in another video.